I'm going to open in your file. You can in Teams you can find a file. The file name would be, let me check. The file name would be somewhere named Financial Big Data Analytics.pdf. This is the presentation file I give you today. All right, so you can find this in your team file download. Okay, and let me check one more thing. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to open today's PowerPoint. Okay, so any questions so far? Do I have to unlock the mute? Okay. Can anybody hear me right now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start today's presentation and the introduction of the course. The course name is Financial Big Data Analytics. This is me. This is a PowerPoint file, so I think I can show you to. Okay, then in today's course, okay, this is me. I'm Professor Tsay. I had my degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison about 25 years ago. So you can see that I'm a little bit old man right now. Okay, almost 60. But I start learning machine learning and big data analysis about 2 years ago. And actually, my major is in water resources, especially in groundwater modeling. So in the previous time, the groundwater modeling was done by numerical method, something like a finite difference or finite element method, or some mathematical approach. And later on, I know that data analysis is a very important field for a new, actually something like a new analyzing data source, data method. So I started to learn that. Actually, before I learned machine learning, I started to learn programming since I was 50 actually, since I was 50, about 10 years ago. The first computer language I learned is VB, Microsoft Visual Basic. And later on, I learned a little bit about C#, Microsoft C#. Then I learned Java. And after I learned Java, I realized that all the computer code, the thinking methodology, and the method is almost the same, only some syntax difference. So I think if it's my purpose of learning computer language is that I try to use the source in the website, okay? Because right now many scholars or professionals are very kind to share their results in their method in coding. So if you want to use their code, you have to understand what's going on in their code. Not quite really understand, not all of them, but you have to catch what's going on, the major part. And so if you don't understand, you'll get afraid of understand the code. You'll get afraid of understanding the code. So I'm not writing code. I just try to understand a little bit about code people write and apply their method to solve my problem. That's all. So I think there's quite a sources, code sources like GitHub, you can use. So it will broaden your vision to use more methods to solve your question. Especially in the future, maybe you're going to work for some international company to try to solve problems based on the big data. Okay, and this is my email. So you can, if you have any questions, you can mail me later or in the future. Okay. Okay. The contents of today, I'm going to introduce a little bit about big data. Okay, I think I can. Yeah, it will be better. I think I can. Can anybody see the sharing of the? I think so. Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you cannot. Languages, I think that will be Python is a pretty easy understanding computer program. So don't worry about that. It's just like speak in English. Okay, very similar in English. Okay. First of all, I'm going to introduce the big data. What is big data? What is the definition? And what is the four V's, not 4 3. I'm sorry. 4 V's. Okay. In big data, there are 4 V's. Okay. So not 4 3. The big data is defined by Gartner in 2001. Okay. Gartner defined this. You can check the link to Gartner. What it said about big data is a high volume, high velocity, and or high variety. Yes. And okay, and please turn off your microphone. Thank you. Let me turn off the microphone. So otherwise, it will be. Sorry. Okay, thank you. And its big data is a high volume, high velocity, high variety information, access that demand cost effective, and it's innovative forms of information processing that enable enhanced insight, decision making, and process automation. So that's the definition by Gartner. And because there are 3 V's over here, so previously people said there are 3 V's, but defined by IBM, they think there are 4 V's, actually 4 V's of big data. Okay, the first part is about volume. So it's the volume is talk about scale of the data. So there are, you can see that the left-hand upper corner, that this information is released at 2018, I think. At that time, they think there are 40 zettabytes. Okay, I think it's per day. I think. So that's quite a volume of data generated every day. Okay, so there's even more data generated in different years, in different fields. And the other one. Yes.
陈老师，我是嘉玲。那个大家好像看不到你的 PPT。
画面吗？
对。
哦， Can anybody see my sharing screen right now?
他
Can
们说看
anybody
不到。
share? 你看不到吗？
对，
We
我这
can
边
see,
也看
but
不到。
it's the wrong slide.
It's the wrong slide.
It's still in the content slide. It's not about the 4 fee of big data.
Okay, so I think maybe let me try to quit. Let me do that one more time. Okay. So can you see the screen right now? My sharing screen right now?
Yeah, I can see this screen right now, but it shows contents.
It's RL. Did you see? You see RL on the screen? There is no.
I just see your slides and it's written the contents.
Contents.
Yeah, the first slide.
Oh.
So your slide is not moving.
Let me see. So, what's up? Let me see. So, can you guys download? Can you find a file in Teams that's a financial big data analytics.pdf right now?
Yeah, we can find it and we already downloaded it.
Okay. So maybe I will try this way. My PDF file. Let me see. Can you see it right now? My sharing file is a PDF file. No?
I think that there is no difference with the previous one. How about the others?
Wow, my goodness. So what's up? Hold on a minute.
Professor, I think you need to stop sharing your screen first and then resharing it.
Yeah, I stopped already. I stopped sharing already. So what's up there? I don't quite understand. Let me see. Let me check if there is another screen recorder, automation, advertising, screen location service, calendar, writer, photos, microphone, speech, access. Word disk. Hold on. Teams. Word disk. Files. Folders. Screen recorder. Automation.
老师有连上吗？因为好像是刚刚有中间有一段就是突然没有声音，之后就卡住了。
突然就卡住了。
对。
一开始有是不是？
一开始有，
一开始有吗？
可是就是突然没有声音，然后就有的好像是没有看到你的
画面，
有的人是卡在那边这样。
哦。
对。
伤脑筋呢，真的。我去，等一下我找一下我的电脑看看。
好的。
这样子很麻烦呢，这个变成
还是连线的问题？
是连线的问题吗？
因为一开始都好好的。
一开始都好好的。
对，就是刚刚我说，就是突然没声音以后就都没有这样，
连画面都没有了。
对，
连画面都没有了，是不是？
对。
一开始画面也有吗？
一开始画面跟声音都正常，然后突然就是你没有声音以后，画面就卡在那里以后，
哇，
就都没有。
I think that's the web bandwidth problem. Let me hand up and log in again. Okay, all right. Please hold on a minute. Let me check if I can present this. So can you see the? Okay. Can you see my sharing right now? Screen sharing right now? Can you see anything? No? No screen share. Okay, let me hand up and log in again, all right? Okay, I'm back. And let me share this one more time, see if you can see that. Can you see my screen sharing right now? Can you see anything? Can you see that? Okay, so maybe one more time I can start the PowerPoint one more time. Can you see that? Can you see my sharing screen? Okay, thank you. Sorry about the system's mistake. If you find something and anything wrong, please just stop me. Otherwise, I will continue to introduce. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. So you can see the screen right now, right? Okay. Yes. Can you see the picture right now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I took this picture about 15 years ago, so I have white hair right now. Okay. So the contents, I will start the contents again. All right. So the contents of this course is about this, about this PowerPoint. Is a little bit about big data, artificial intelligence introduction, and applications. And I'm going to introduce the languages for big data analysis, especially in not all languages. Actually, I'm going to introduce in the course most about Python, right? But as I said, you don't have to worry about Python because Python is easy to learn. Don't worry about it. Okay. So maybe I should correct this. 4 V's, not the 4 V's. Okay. Okay, 4 V's. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So big data has 4 V's. Okay. The definition of big data is defined by Gartner about 2001. Okay. So it's about 20 years ago. We have the name of big data. Actually, we learned that the data mining or data warehouse almost 30, 40 years ago. People realized that since we have computer and we have a database, they know that's important to collect data, to analyze data. Okay, but Gartner defined big data to be high volume, high velocity, and high variety. Okay, that's a very important 3 parts. So some people say, okay, there are only 3 V's, not 4 V's. Actually, big data, when Gartner defined big data, he talked about high volume, high velocity, and high variety. Okay, and later on, IBM, it was announced about several years ago, I think. They have 4 V's. About 4 V's that's about volume. Volume is about scale of the data. Okay, the scale of the data is about volume, and the velocity is which means that when you collect data, it is very there's a bunch of data. When you collect data or analysis of streaming data comes every second, every minute, every hour you can collect lots of data. Okay, so that's the velocity. You can collect data very quickly, especially when you have network or internet. Okay, and you collect the data you collected is different forms of data, varieties of data. Okay, so something like you have numbers of data, something like you have ages, something like how much money people earn per month. That's a number data, right? What's your bank account? How much in your bank account, or the stock prices? That's the number of data. And there are streams of data, something like people chat, talk about in the community, web community, in Facebook, they talk a lot, chat, they gossip, right? They say something about a movie, something about politics. That's a variety of data. Okay, not just only numbers, but many different type of data. Something like time and date. That's another type of data. So there are varieties of data, and the data is veracity. Veracity means that there's uncertainty of data. That there is a very important conclusion that only there is only one third of business managers, they don't trust the data that result people analyze from the data. So the uncertainty of the data, the data you collected or you analyze from data may not be correct. So that's 4 V's. Okay, so volume, velocity, variety, and the veracity. So that's the important features of the data. Okay, and for big data, because of the data, you can, if you use conventional tools, something like spreadsheet. Okay, spreadsheet can only handle megas of data. I think if I give you a spreadsheet like XML, you open that in Excel or numbers in Mac. If the data file is about 1 megabyte, it's okay, no problem at all. But if I give you a data of 10 megabytes, maybe it will take a while to open the data, and especially when you want to analyze the data, you will see a bunch of different column names or mix up. It's hard to understand. Okay, so maybe spreadsheet is not suitable for big data analysis. And database is also available, is also useful, but we need something more powerful, new, to analyze the data. Okay, so there are tools. Okay, something like Hadoop, it's very famous. Something like CEH. I don't know how to pronounce that actually. Maybe some students have learned this before, the tools of analyzing big data, but I did not learn any one of the tools before. I don't know them. Okay, so I don't know how to answer any question about Hadoop. If you ask me about Hadoop, I have no answers. Okay, so that's but I know something about Python. Okay, because we can use languages to analyze data. Okay, if you want to learn R, Professor Tswn Syau will teach you about R later on. So we're going to let you understand different languages of analyzing data. Okay, you can, if you know about C++, maybe it's fine. So there are some different methods, different languages for you to understand, for you to analyze. If you learn that, you don't have to be very, very familiar with that, but you have to be able to read that. Okay, and if you read the keywords, you can find out what's going on. from Google, okay, because Google is my best friend. Okay. Second part is about artificial intelligence, a little introduction. Okay. The big data we are talking about is about this part, which most of people say that in big data, that's data science. Okay. If you look at the circle right here, the data science covers artificial intelligence. They overlap a big area like machine learning and deep learning. Okay. So maybe we're going to work on a little bit about conventional machine learning, like support vector machine later on. If we have enough time, we can use support vector regression to work on some time series problem, make some predictions. I hope. Okay, so we can collect stock price like Apple stock price and some of their index. You know, because I'm not a business background. I don't have business background. I only have engineering background, but I know how to use the numbers to do predictions, but I don't quite understand the index background. So you can consult your business advisors to learn more. But I will give you a very important website that you can search the data for your future use. And maybe if you have interested in learning artificial intelligence, I think deep learning is the very very popular method, because deep learning uses artificial neural network, and you know it is kind of fun to run artificial neural network, work on some predictions or time series problem, or some image recognition, some problem, something like that, or text mining. So application of artificial intelligence, there are some examples like chatbots. Okay, so many people develop chatbots. You know, you can talk to AI, and AI will answer your question, or something like intelligence assistants. Some restaurants, they don't hire people anymore. They just write intelligence assistants that AI can. If you want to reserve a restaurant for dinner of 2 on Monday, on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening at 7 o'clock, then intelligent assistants of the restaurant will, okay, then he will sign up, the book your seats for you, and no problem at all. So that is very mature technique right now. So if you were still wondering if I'm going to work for a restaurant, start from work as a server service, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, and some other things like recommendation engines. Okay, and this technique will be mature. The self-driving car will be
老师又没声音了。老师，
you need to do so. Hello, can you hear me right now?
可以了，可以了。
Oh my goodness, something. I don't know why.
现在可以了，
Okay. 所以我停掉多久？
大概30秒。
Oh, okay. So maybe that's the part I'm talking about right now. Okay. So what I talked 30 seconds ago is about the self-driving car system. It will be mature. It will mature by 2025. So after 2025, you don't have to worry about if you drink too much. After a night party, you can drink as you wish and get into a car and just tell your car that go home. Then your car will drive you home. No problem at all. No drink and drive. Okay. So there is no problem about that. Okay. So I think that will happen in several years. Okay. So maybe that's a good news. But another bad news is maybe people get drunk, most of the time. Okay. Because they don't have to worry about drunk and drive. That's a bad news. Okay. So don't drink too much 5 years ago. 5 years later, all right? Don't drink too much 5 years later when the self-driving car system is ready. But right now it's not quite, because there is something they're still working on. Okay, so this is example about self-driving. They can recognize the people walk across the street. They can recognize that the first thing that they don't want to hit people first, right? But later on, they're going to avoid many things, many objects, and they don't want to hit anything. Okay, so the big data and AI, the applications to many fields like network security, robot, chatbot, image processing, medical care. Okay, especially medical care, many image by X-rays recognized by AI is much more accurate than professional medical doctors, and so that professional doctors, they said, AI is almost comparatively they are competitive with medical doctors. They have maybe later on medical doctors will. I don't think that will happen, but they think there is a crisis of medical doctors' job. Okay, so maybe that will happen in the future. If you saw a movie about Star Trek, in the Star Trek they have a pen, they have a doctor. The doctor's job is use something like a pen to diagnose people if they get sick or not. Okay. And some other thing like application is business intelligence analysis. Oh, that's important because if you can work on analysis, you will make money through that, right? And Internet of Things, like this is a company said like IoT, okay, and industrial Internet of Things. And market research and marketing, transport, financial. So that's the part we're going to work on later. Okay, and agricultural, education, text mining, etc. So almost every part, our life will be affected by AI or big data. And as we said before, that because there are so many program languages that used to work for analyze big data, but from the Kaggle, this is 2018 Kaggle Machine Learning Data Science Survey. And from the survey, they found out that this is a multiple choice, I think. So some people said, okay, Python is nice, SQL is good, C++ is good. So the summation of the percentage is over 100. Okay, but when they analyze the programming language people use regularly basis, Python is number one. Okay, and there is another survey that would you recommend as a aspiring data scientist to learn first? Then it's Python also. So Python is kind of a very good start learning computer language. So because it's it's really easy. Okay, you can learn this by yourself. Just be patient. All right. So okay, and maybe you heard that. Okay, if I'm interested in learning Python, but how to start? Okay, how to start Python? About maybe 1 year ago, if you want to learn Python, most of people has to install Anaconda. Okay, if you click on this one, you will go to the Anaconda, website, and there is an installation guide for you, and it's available for Python and R. But it depends on your computer. If you don't have a GPU, then you cannot work on anything about neural network, something like deep learning problems. But and there is another issue we have to worry about. Sorry, Anaconda. Oops, how come it jumps? Sorry. Okay, Anaconda kind of very choose your computer at computer levels. If you have your computer is do not have enough memory, or the CPU is not good enough, is not fast enough, maybe Anaconda, when you install Anaconda, there is problem. So I recommend my students do not install Anaconda. Okay, you don't need to install Anaconda. So in this course, you need a computer. You cannot learn this course by a cell phone. Okay, it's not good enough. It's not, the screen is too small and you cannot operate. So you have to find a desktop, old desktop, if you can link to internet. Okay, and the environment we're going to use is Google Colab. Okay, I think Google is very kind. You just have to apply a Google account. Then you can use Google Colab as a developing environment to learn Python. Okay, so there is no need, no installation for anything, no need, and it's provided by Google, and they provide you a GPU. For most of the time, you don't need that. You use CPU, their CPU, not your computer CPU, and there are some limitations. Something like 12 hours a day. I think that's enough for beginner. Okay, when I run some problems, maybe I need several hours a day only. So GPU 12 hours is enough. And this GPU, they give you a pretty nice GPU. You can check that. Okay, and it's available for Python and R. Okay, the default one is Python. Okay, so we are going to work on Python, the environment, start to introduce you the environment later on. Okay, and the topic I'm going to cover in this course on Friday and next Monday will be something about the basics like variables, list, tuple, set, dictionary, and that is controls like if, else, for loop, and something like functions. Okay, so it will be quite easy. Don't worry about that. After you make some simple practice, you can understand. Oh, okay, that's no problem. And we need to learn 3 modules. Okay, there are 3 modules, the most important 3 modules. The first one is NumPy. The NumPy module is for computation. Okay, it's for computation. And the other one is pandas. The pandas is for data presentation. Pandas give you a spreadsheet look like outcome. So if you compute things in NumPy, you can express that in pandas, then it will be easier for you to read. Okay, so I will show you that later. Okay, and the other part is about matplot library. Okay, that's for plots. Okay, so we have three modules to learn, and some basic part about Python to learn. And I think if I start part of them, you can learn it by yourself. I think there will be no problem. And on next Monday, we're going to learn some conventional machine learning, like the support vector machine, random forest, and the newer, the method comes, it was developed 2 years ago, I think, as XGBoost. Okay, this is a very, very popular method for machine learning method. And it's, we don't have to understand quite much about the theory background, but we have to, you can use that in 3 lines, just in 3 lines. And you don't have to memorize that, because whenever I want to use it, I just go to Google, copy, paste, change the variables. That's all. Okay, so it'll be easy. Okay, so some examples we're going to cover. I hope to cover the on next Monday will be web browsing history analysis. Okay, something like web crawlers, like surprise basic analysis, or just like I said, a time series prediction. And this is a time series prediction result I made for practice in one of my big data or AI course. And students, most of our students, about 90% students can handle that, and they can change some parameters to get a different or better results. Maybe if we have time, we can work on Facebook community analysis. Okay, so there's several topics I hope to cover in the future. And we're going to take a 5 minutes of break. Please find out your file and link there. I think our Chuck just copy this. Again, if you answer this before, you don't have to worry about, you just, if you answer it already, because I put that as a homework assignment. I think you can find that in the homework assignment and answer the question. And let's take 5 minutes of break, and we're going to come back and look at the results, because I received several results right now. But 5 minutes of break, so we're going to start at 2 o'clock p.m. All right, so it's 1 o'clock and 54 right now. So 5 minutes of break. Okay, so I will stop sharing. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay, I'm back. I have some questions to answer, I think. Okay. So I received the comments about the learning course in like Selenium. Okay. actually, the course that we're going to apply is some simple query. Okay, so to get the stock price. Okay, if you are interested in Selenium, I think I need some more research on that part. I think because I don't quite remember I worked on this part before. Okay, so but if you're interested in and we have enough time, we can work on that. Okay, and yeah, the assignment you did, okay, on the questionnaire is all right. Okay, so that's the same. Okay, so you don't have to answer that one more time. And Google Colab is not required. Okay, if you install Anaconda already, just use your Anaconda, because in my experience that some students they have difficulties to install Anaconda in their computer. Okay, and that happens in quite like 10-20%. Okay, so I don't want to get in trouble in installing Anaconda because I don't know how to answer that either. Okay, so if you don't have Anaconda, just use Google Colab. It's okay. Yeah, if you have Anaconda installed already, just use Anaconda. Okay, so either one is fine. And this question about elaborate more examples of AI in financial related field. Okay, so maybe we have to take a look at the survey results first. Okay, so in my survey, can you see this? The survey results. I think most of you can read that when you do the survey, right? And in the survey result, because there is 90 response right now, and more than 60% from Indonesia students, right? So another Singapore 18%. As I know, Indonesia students and the Singapore students, they know a little bit Chinese. So yeah, so maybe if you have any questions, you can ask me in Chinese privately through email. That's all right. Okay, so because sometimes I think my English is awkward. Okay, so some people from Australia. Okay, so some from India. Okay, Thailand, Japan, okay, and Korea. Okay, that's very nice. Welcome you all to join this program. And your major, about the major part, okay, there is other part. Maybe some of you are in education, I think, because I did not put education here. I'm sorry about that. But most of the students are in business background. Okay? Some of you are in engineering ground, so comparatively the same percentage, and some agriculture, law school, science school, art, liberal, and arts. That reminds me that in when I was in college, I have some friends. They major in Chinese Department of Chinese. Okay, 中文系. Okay, they learn to program Fortran. I don't think you know about Fortran right now, but Fortran is a very popular computer language, and then like Fortran and some other language, I think. So Fortran is especially for engineering computation that time, but there's quite a few students in Department of Arts. They try to select computer Fortran program Fortran as their selection. Okay, so it's amazing. So this one answers how did you learn Python before? Okay, so that's the main part I want to clear that, because we have only about 22.5% learned Python before. So maybe, it's quite hard to cover. If I go too fast, then 73% of students cannot catch up. Okay, so, but in this course, I try to prepare that, try to let every student understand what you can learn from Python. Okay, because Python is really a very simple language. So I think, okay, I'm going to start from the basic. So if you learned this before, maybe you are very familiar with Python, maybe you have to be a little bit patient, or you can, on Monday, I think we're going to work on some real problems. Okay, so that's the part I'm going to clarify the course part. If all of us learn Python before, then maybe I'll go straight forward to machine learning, or even to artificial neural network learning. Okay, so this is the part I want to know. Then there's a website to learn Python. I recommend. I think that's a very nice website. The one is W3 Schools. I think this one is very, very, very nice, and then they give many syntax for different languages. If you visit W3 Schools, you can learn everything there, I think. Okay, and there is another one for plots, because I found Python matplotlib library in W3 School. I found some more interesting examples in tutorial point. Okay, that's another tutorial computer language tutorial website, and they have about the matplotlib library. So about the basic part, I'm going to use these two websites to introduce the Python. Okay, and this is my class requirements. Okay, so you need a Google account. I believe all of us have a Google account. Okay, and if you don't have an account, you need to get familiar with Google Colab. Okay, so I'm going to start Google Colab in a few minutes, so to let you understand what is a Google Colab. And you have to follow my class schedule and practice by yourself. Okay, actually you don't have to type anything, not much. You just copy, paste, and read the result. Try to understand each code's results, but you don't have to memorize the code. There is no need to memorize any code. Okay, no need at all. But you have to understand what the code's results corresponds to the code, what result will come, because that will help you apply some other code. Some other people, they develop code. Okay, and we are going to. I think I'm going to give you, in addition to today's survey, there is going to have two homework assignments. Okay, and don't worry, the assignment is easy. But if you have Anaconda, you don't have to worry about that, because whenever you finish work on Anaconda, you just download a .html file. Okay, and what I need is a HTML file format as your assignment. But if you work on in the Colab environment, there is no interface for you to download as a HTML file. So I will teach you how to convert that from Google Colab, and convert the file from IPYMB to a HTML file format. The reason why I don't want to read your IPYMB file, because or .py file, because I have to run the program by myself again. Okay, and HTML file, you can run the results and give me a HTML format and the result of the code are all there. So I just open it and I can see if you do it right or not. Okay. So I hope you all enjoy the course. And the next page is about steps to convert IPYMB to HTML in Colab. Okay, so I will show you how to do this later on. So any questions so far? If you have any question, you can just, you can just write here. Okay. So maybe I will go straight forward to introduce Colab. Okay. So in the Colab, you need a Google account. Okay. So you need to. I'm using Chrome right now, and my system you're watching right now. The system I'm using is a Mac. Okay. My computer is an iMac. Okay. So I use a Mac as the desktop. Okay. So it's the same as when you use Windows. It's almost the same. Okay, and my browser is Google Chrome, so I will suggest you to install Google Chrome as your browser. Okay, so in the Google Chrome you can just type google.com, and if you see your pictures right here, that means you log in your Google account. If not, you need to, if I let me get out of the Google. Where is it? Oops. And this is my account, and maybe this is not the part you need. Okay, my point is that you need to log in Google Chrome. Okay, so in your computer, log in Google Chrome first, then just type COLAB. Okay, just type Colab, and you're going to find out the first one is Google Colab. And just click on Google Colab, you will see an interface, something like this. And the part I want to introduce, maybe you don't have so many files right here, but because you don't need to upload any notebook files, something like here. If you next time I will give you a notebook file, you need to upload right here. So you have to choose the file and upload it. But right now, what we need is a new one. So you just click on cancel. And this is an interface that explains what is a collaboratory and what is that for, and many introductions. Okay. And the one we need is a file. You can click on a new notebook. Okay, just click on that. A new notebook, and then you will see that the environment we're developing is a Jupyter notebook file. Okay, on the left upper side, this is the file name, and in the Jupyter notebook, and the file name is .ipymb. Okay, the extension file name is .ipymb. So maybe if you type the file name, and I'll give it the date of today. Okay, starts with a text. As I remember, you cannot start the file name as a number. Okay, so just use some letters and whatever you want, and just click on enter. Then this file name is test 2020-07-15. Okay, so so where is this file stored? You know, in especially when in my last page of the introduction, there is two drive to install your files. The one is the temp drive, and the other one is Colab notebooks. Okay, so if you let me back to there. If you type here something like a text, not a code, only a text, and starts with pound sign, and said, okay, this is a test, and run it. And when you want to run it, you have to Shift Enter, I think. At this part, Shift Enter. Type Shift and Enter, and you can store it. Okay, save. Just click on save, and you can find on the left part side on this icon. Actually, the file is not saved here. This is the part I call as a temp drive. Okay, but the IPYMB file test 2020-07-15.IPYMB, this file is not stored over here. It's stored somewhere. If you click on File, Locate in Drive. Okay, because when you have a Google account, there is a cloud drive for you, space for you, about 15 gigabytes, I think. Okay, so when you click on that, you will find my this is my cloud disk. Okay, then in my cloud disk, that's the file you stored. So this file will be stored in your Google Cloud disk. Okay, so it's in your Google Cloud disk here. But when you work on Google Colab, there is no space. It's not stored right here. Okay, but what is this for? Because when we work on machine learning or data analysis, sometimes we need a gigabyte of data, and the data is so big, so that if you upload your data to your Google Drive in this space, then it will occupy your space. Because I bought 100 gigabytes. Actually, there is only 15 gigabytes only. So maybe it's not. It won't have enough space for your practice. So most of the time you have your data. If you have your data in your local computer, and you just use this one to upload the data, find your data, upload it to here. Something like if I work it as a test, I can upload anything. Like I upload a PNG file, then it will say that, okay, the uploaded file will get deleted when the runtime is cycled. So this file will temporarily saved in this temp disk. Okay, so this Google Colab file, IPYMB, or a Jupyter notebook file is saved in your personal Google Cloud disk, but they will give you there is no limit. You can upload, as I remember, there is almost 77 gigabytes, okay, of space for you to upload as a data. So, but this file will be deleted when you recycle your runtime. Okay, so the runtime means that the runtimes include the CPU, GPU, and the processor, and the environment. Okay, so if you restart your runtime, then this time, as they said, this file will be deleted. Okay, so right now it's still there, but if you leave this space and come back again, maybe, it's gone. Okay. Something like this. Okay. But it's still there. Okay. So you can try that later. Okay. So this is the Google Colab. So, I'll give you 5 minutes to practice by yourself on Google Colab. Okay. Try it by yourself. I will return the screen to you. Okay. So everybody ready to continue? Okay, thank you. So I'm going to work on Colab as a development environment, all right? and I will introduce some features of Colab for you to understand. The Colab is the Jupyter notebook. Okay, not Colab. Colab is this interface. Okay, this Jupyter notebook is especially for R or Python to develop your language, and it's pretty easy because you can run the code line by line. You don't have to write code and run it and find errors, find out, oh my goodness, there's some errors, then correct them and run it again and again and again. That will be, very, very tedious and terrible, right? So in the Colab, it runs line by line. You can run it in several a bunch of codes or several lines of codes together, or you can run it line by line. Okay, and you can if you your mouse focus on this line, you can move that upward. Okay, so and there are two parts in Colab. One is about the code, the other one is about text. Okay, text is to explain the feature inside. Okay, the titles. Okay, or some subject. Okay, something like I'm going to add another one, like the subject we're going to talk about. Okay, so I'm going to W3 School Python and click on that. I'm going to follow the subject of this website. Okay, let me check if I share the screen to you. Oh, sorry, I did not share the screen yet. Okay, sorry. Can you see the screen right now? Can you all see the screen right now? The sharing screen? I'm at the screen of 3schools.com. Can you see that? No sharing?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, see that. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the part I talked about first is the lines, these lines in Colab, and that's from Jupyter Notebook. Okay, and in the Colab, in Jupyter Notebook, we have codes and text. Codes is for writing code, to run that, and text is just you can click on that, you can add a text and use pound sign to show the title. Okay, something like I'm going to I go to w3school.com, and maybe after starts, I'm going to introduce variables. So I'm sorry, I'm going to introduce comments from here, so I can write comments. Okay, and run this by Shift and Enter. Okay, if you double click on that, you can edit that, and when you finish that, you can Shift and Enter to finish that. And the major part of the advantage of this part is that you can separate the titles, the contents of it, because something like if I need another text, and I use this is variables. Okay, and I know from this part start, and there will be variables afterwards, and this part is comment. I can collapse them, I can expand them, So for this one, I can write my code. Okay, after I finish that, I can collapse them, and it will be easier for me to find out how the whole parts. Okay, to look at the whole parts. Okay, so I'm going to introduce here. Start from here. that's a Python tutorial, and you can read that by yourself. There is some examples, something like, okay, you can use print, and you can try it here, but that's not, because I wish my students to get familiar with the Colab, so that later on they can use Colab to run their program. Okay, if you use the environment here, then you're using their environment. You can try it here as well. I think that will be fine, but it's limited to their environment. Okay, so that's not my. I don't think you want to do that. Okay, so I just want you to copy that. Okay, so you don't have to type anything. Copy this and to expand that. Okay, then copy that to this line. That's the code. And the first language, everyone, I think everybody learned when they learn a computer code. The first computer code they write is hello world. Okay, so like me, same as you, same as me. Okay, so you just run it by click here. So you will get the result, hello world. Okay, hello world. Okay, and because we're using Python 3.7 or 6, I think. Okay, but if you use Python 2 point something, then you don't need this parenthesis. Okay, so something changed. But when you realize that when you read some computer code, they give you something like this. And you will get a wrong answer. It's syntax error. So you will understand. Okay, this is not the sentence problem, because we're using the different version of Python. So most of people use Python 3 point something, 3.6, 3.7, and the default setting for Colab is 3.7, I think. So you don't have to worry about that. So when you copy somebody's computer code, and there is minor difference. This is the major difference from point to point, and version 2 and version 3. I think there are not much difference. So you don't have to worry about when you have problems to run that, you will find any further problems. And the second part, the other thing I want to mention is that Python runs line by line. I mean, Jupyter Notebook runs line by line. So this is the first code, and this is seems to be the second code. Okay, but if you check on the number over here and check on the number over here, then you will see, okay, that's 1, and this becomes 3, right? But it's kind of weird, because how come it becomes 3? And if you run this code again, you will find out that this becomes 4. So sometimes you have to run the code line by line. Otherwise, it will cover if you run this and go back there, then maybe some variable you assigned has to be reassigned again. Okay, so that's something you have to be careful. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about. You can just, okay, then let me restart the runtime. Okay, you can restart runtime, then you will see that there is blank, and you run it one more time. That starts from 1, and this is 2. Okay, so it's sequential from 9 to 9. Okay, so another part, and something they talk about something Python file handling. They can read, open, read, write, delete files. There's some problem, and they can handle database. Okay, but we're not good. We are not going to use database so far. So don't worry about that. The problem in the database I give you would be from API or .csv file. So don't worry about that. Okay, and there's some practice. You can just type in print. Okay, that's all. Okay, so that's pretty easy. And there is an example, there is Python quiz. You can see in this W3 school. Maybe we can select some quiz. Okay, as you were, homework assignment, maybe. Okay, and let's go to the second part. Why is Python? Okay, because it's used for web development. Okay, but I think most people use web development use PHP, I think, or .NET. Okay, so Python, not much, I think, but it's very available for mathematics or system scripting. Okay, so it's good. What Python can do? Python can use unserved to create 2 web applications. Okay, can be used to alongside software to create workflows. Okay, can connect to database. Can hit. I think that's the major part to handle big data and perform complex mathematics. Okay, so that's very important that Python can do. Okay, and why Python? Okay, Python can work on different platforms. Okay, many like Windows, you can work it on Windows, Mac, Linux. Especially when you use Codec, there is no limitation at all. So any system, any platform, whatever you use, you can, when you connect to internet, just use Codec to run that. I think should be no problem. Python is very simple syntax similar to English language. Okay, so the thing that I think for computer language is the new good news for computer language is that computer language, even you learn different type of computer languages, they are quite similar. It's not like if I learn English and if I want to learn Chinese, if my native language is Chinese, I have difficulty in learning Thai language. I know Thai language is very, very difficult. I know Indonesian language is very difficult. They're completely different. I know Japanese is completely different. Even there are some Chinese characters, but actually the pronunciations, the grammars are different. But in computer language, if you learn one computer language, then it's pretty much the same for Java, for C++, for C, just some format difference. So it's good news. So Python is a good start to learn computer as a computer language. Okay, and his syntax that allows developer to write programs with fewer lines than some other program languages. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Later on, you will find out when you want to delete some null numbers, just one line, delete all null numbers. You will have to find them, because the Python method has already written that. So it's easy. Okay, to work on very difficult problems. Python runs on interpreter system, meaning that code can execute as soon as it's written. When you write it, you don't have to compile it. Okay, you just run it. Yeah, that's all. You can treat as procedural way. Okay, it's good to know. Okay, so there's some other things that I think you can read by yourself, and you can get started. When you want to get started, if you want to install Python by yourself, not by Anaconda, you can use Python to install it. There's some installation method. Maybe you can try it by yourself. And the syntax part is that because we are running Python in Jupyter Notebook, so our file name is .ipynb, not .py. Okay, but if you already written a set or a function of a Python language, you can store that to be a py, and you can use Python and space to run your file. Okay, that's the traditional way to run Python. But right now we are using Jupyter Notebook interface, so we can run that line by line. Okay, so don't worry about that. So let's go to Python comments. Okay, comments, which means that explanations. Okay, to let you know what is this. The comment starts from a pound sign. Let me enlarge this. Okay, so when you copy this one to your Jupyter, to your Colab, and add a line, and copy and paste that, and this part is about comments. So it's very nice to write a comments. Okay, write comments is a very good habit to keep track of what you have done. Okay, so which means, okay, this is a comments, only comments. So print comments about what? About print. Okay, so maybe about print for Python 3 point something. Okay, maybe 6 with parentheses. Okay, with parentheses. Okay, so if you are working on Python more than 3 point something, then you use parentheses inside. Okay, for print. Okay, so that's especially for this part. So if you run this one more time, then you'll find out it's number 4, 9.4, because 9.3 has been covered by 9.4, right? Overwrite. Okay, overwritten by 9.3. So you can also write your comments after a print, something like this. So it's pretty much the same. So if you go back there, you add another 9. Okay, then you run this part, or you use Shift Enter. You can run it. Then you will see the result. Okay, that's the same. Okay, so you can write your comments ahead of your code, or after the code, or even another line for the code. It will be the same. Okay, so there should be no problem. Sometimes it will be nice if the code is not long enough. You know, it's just okay. And something I want to mention is that Python can ignore your space, I think. Yeah, if you have type another space here, there should be no problem at all. But inside here, that's your string. So it will type, you know, the print whatever you type inside there. Okay. So let's go to, let me finish this part. Okay, so this is, you know, print hello world. Okay, that's the same, I think. So maybe you can have multiple comments over there, something like this is comment written in more than just one line. That's comments, right? So if you copy this and add one more line, paste that, you know, you will get the same result, because these 3 lines are comments. You'll get no extra results than this. Okay. And there are some other examples. Okay, something like this. Okay, if you have multiple lines for comments, you can use something like this. Okay, maybe I will give you some other example. Okay, I'll type this first, and if you know, this is double quotients 3 times for comments. If it's a long sentence. Okay, so if you have a sentence, okay, this is my first time of learning Python. If you type something like this, and you separate them into several lines, you can just, you know, use your mouse to stack them, or then double quotients 3 times, then it will become comments. Okay, so it should be no problem at all. So this is, you know, only a comments, you know, nothing more than a comment. So okay, so if you type comments, so you will see comments. Okay, so this is only comments. All right, so you can use double quotients, double quotient 3 times. Just use your mouse to select them all. All right. And some other things. Okay, I think that's for comments, and I think I will come back in 5 minutes and let you look at the comments, and I will introduce something more about variable later. Okay. So I'll return this to you. So try to do the practice by yourself, especially if you learn how to write program as a beginner. It's important. Don't be afraid. Okay, just try to do it by yourself. Maybe there's some problem, but that will be very nice for you to practice. I think it's a good start. So don't worry. Our class is until 3 o'clock, I think. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and another course I heard will start at 3:30. So maybe I have 10 minutes later on. I think that will be enough for variables, I think. We don't have homework assignment today, so don't worry. Just practice today's course by yourself and remember to come back on Friday, okay? Okay, so let me share my screen to you. Okay, I think I have some students just give me a quiz, I think. Okay, that's an exercise for variables. Okay, so that's a variable I'm going to teach in the future minutes, but I will answer this first. I'm lucky I know this one, so it'll be, it says you will create a variable name, car name, assign a variable to it. Okay, that will be easy. That's the car name, right? And the variable. Okay, when you assign a name inside a double quotient, let's become a string. Okay, and this is a variable. That's it. Okay, so you can see the answer. Where is the answer right now? Where is the answer? Oh, yeah, I think that's the answer. I think, is it? Okay, submit your answer. Okay, it's correct, right? Okay, so that'll be easy. So don't worry about that. Okay, I think everybody could do that. Okay, so let's check the second part about variables. The second part, the next part about variables. Okay, the most interesting part of Python variables is the data type can be changed anytime you want. Okay. In some other computer languages, if you assign x to be 5, which means it's an integer, you cannot assign x to be a string. Okay, you cannot say, oh, okay, x equal to 5, then x equal to John, then there were some error comes out. But in Python, it's all flexible. So if you copy this one and try to print it, so after variables, when you run it, you will see x is equal to 5, y is equal to John, and when you print y, print x, you will get x, y. When you try to run this, okay, again, you say x is equal to Mary, y is equal to Tom, no, y is equal to 10, then it will be changed, But in some others, like Java, you cannot do that. Okay, if you assign x to be an integer, then x is an integer in the program. You cannot change that at all. It's fixed. But in Python, it's quite flexible. So but there is an advantage and it's also a disadvantage. You have to memorize that. Okay, this is an integer. Okay, this is a string. All right. So after you run that, when you run this again, okay, I'm sorry. When you run this again, okay, and you get x is equal to 5, because this is line 14 and this is line 15. So x is covered by 5 instead of Mary, right? So that's something you have to know. Okay. So some other examples like x is equal to 4, x is the type of integer. It says here, and x is now a type of string. So when you type, when you run that, you get SATI instead of 4, because x is equal to 4, and you replace 4 to be SATI, right? 4 is replaced to be SATI, so print x becomes SATI. Okay, but if you comment this one out, then x is equal to 4. Okay, oops, sorry. Okay, so you have to try it. Be brave to try it by yourself. And the double quotients and single quotient is the same. So I'm not going to work on this by. I wish you to work on that by yourself. And as I mentioned before, that it cannot be started from a number, or if a variable cannot have an operator inside there. So, but this is oligo. Okay, you can use underline, You can use capital numbers after a number of a variable. It's fine, but you cannot start the variable with a number or use a operator inside there, something like this. If you assign that, oops, sorry, then there was something become error because you cannot use an operator inside here. Okay, so if you print something like that, print my, okay, because if my is a variable, but you did not assign what is my, so my is not defined. Okay, so something it quite be the same. So you can use something like a hyphen, I think. Okay, but a hyphen, not hyphen, I'm sorry, underline, I think. Okay, so you can print my variable, it'll appear here. Okay, so it'll become John. Okay, and you can assign sequentially. Okay, x dot y dot z is equal to orange, banana, and cherry, and print them. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, you can print that. You can get orange, banana, and cherry. You can also do that. You can get the same result. Okay, you'll get the same result. Okay, then and you can also type x, y, z to get the result: orange, banana, and cherry without print. But the result will be covered by a tuple. We set this parenthesis as tuple. Okay, we'll introduce this later on. And if x, y, z is equal to orange, then the result will be orange. You can try this by yourself. And you can, if x is equal to awesome, then Python is, you use plus sign to add your string together. Okay, so that would be something like this. Okay, x is equal to awesome. A print Python is awesome. No, Python is not awesome. Okay, so we encourage you, right? And you need a period afterwards. Okay, that's a sentence. All right. So okay, if x is equal to Python is, then y is awesome. Then z is equal to x plus y. So you add string together. Oops. Do I have this? Yeah. Okay, then Python is awesome. Okay. Then if it's numbers, then it will add together. Okay, for numbers. Okay, that would be 15. You can, easy to understand. But if you have x is equal to 5, something like this, then you will get some type error because 5 is an integer and John is a string. So it's not the same, right? So the way to change that is that you change 5 to string with double quotients. Then the result will be 5 John, okay? Because you add 2 strings together. If we have a number, something like 5, and you have something string like 2 as a string, you cannot add them together as well because this is a string and this is number, right? So you can not add string and number. 2 ways to solve that. You can change this to be string as well, and run it. Oops, something stuck. Restart. Oops, something wrong. Something wrong with the. Okay, that's 52, right? Okay, otherwise there should be only 50. 150 rule, not 2 to 52. Okay. Then the other way to solve it is back this to 2, and we try to change that in by int, change this int to be an integer, to be an integer. Okay. So we can have 7. Okay. So we treat this one to be string and this one to be string, and add 2 strings together will be 52. Okay. Or you treat this as an integer and try to switch this string to be integer. Okay. So that's the very commonly I make mistake, even myself. Okay. So you have to be careful about that. And there is some global variable. I don't want to talk this because it'll be, we will see that later on. Okay, so I think that will be all for today's course. I think you can practice by yourself from reading this to up to variables. If you are interested in reading by yourself, you can try data types. So I think my time is up. Okay, so I will see you next time. All right, on Friday morning. Okay, so see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.